Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Minna Daniels. The headlines. Experts raise awareness on climate emergency, say humanity has 4 years to prevent 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming. Riding high after triumphant convention, confident Donald Trump returns to campaign, descends on battleground Michigan with his running mate. Minister of Budget and National Planning defends 6.2 trillion naira 2024 Appropriation Act amendment, believes new projects will shut up revenue. The 6th Media Coordination Meeting of the African Union AU, the Regional Economic Communities RECs, the Regional Mechanisms RMS and the African Union member states has happened in Accra, Ghana. President Tinubu, who is participating in the meeting in the capacity as the chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, will address the meeting on the status of regional integration across various areas in Africa, highlighting the achievements and challenges encountered in West Africa.
Decide, including within your council. The second problem is the coherence and the consistency of the policy of the African Union, which is very ambitious as regards development with its real potential and capacity of financing.
The president was earlier received at the airport by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and charged the affairs, Nigerian High Commissioner in Ghana, and Ambassador Dayo Adoye, among other officials. Since the last meeting in Nairobi, Kenya in July 2023, the President and Chairman of ECOWAS will present the 2024 report on the state of the community, focusing on peace, regional security, governance, economic integration, humanitarian and social development, energy, mines, and agriculture. The meeting is convened under the AU theme of the year 2024, Educate and Skill Africa for the 21st Century. The Media Coordination Meeting was conceptualized in 2017 as a principal forum for the AU and the RECs to align their work and coordinate the implementation of the Continental Integration Agenda, replacing the June-July Summit. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, and the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation in South Africa, Mr. Ronald Lamola, has met on the sidelines of the African Union Executive Council in Accra. The two ministers reaffirmed the existing bilateral relations and solidarity between South Africa and Nigeria and committed to redouble their efforts to expand and deepen cooperation between the two countries in various sectors. In this regard, the ministers undertook to finalize preparations for the upcoming session of the Bi-National Commission, which is scheduled to take place in South Africa. They further exchanged views on regional and continental matters, including peace and security on the African continent in particular. The two countries expressed concern at the ongoing conflict in Sudan, which has resulted in the loss of innocent civilian lives, exacerbated the humanitarian crisis, displaced millions of people, affected women and children, and led to the total destruction of critical infrastructure. The ministers reiterated a call for an immediate ceasefire, an end to the conflict, and the commencement of a process to expedite access to humanitarian assistance. To this end, both nations call on the international community to take practical steps that will facilitate a peaceful resolution of the conflict in Sudan in an inclusive manner. Coastal erosion in the United Kingdom has been estimated to reduce coastal land soon by 97 meters. Residents say they experienced large portions of cliffs falling while taking leisure evening walks. Kolo Mohammed tells us more.
Eastern England is the worst hit by coastal erosion, as it is estimated that 8,900 properties in England are at risk of disappearing before long, as shores erode rapidly and the land collapses into the sea. Reports say if no action is taken, those figures could reach 100,000 in the future. Coastal erosion is a natural process, particularly along English soft coast. Experts, however, blame global warming for accelerating the phenomenon. Sea levels around the UK have risen by 15% since 1900, and globally they could increase 1.12 meters by 2100 if targets on emissions are not achieved. Dr. Charlie Thompson, manager of the Southeast Regional Coastal Monitoring Program, said, "Unlike flooding, erosion is a permanent change which is quite hard to address." She further warned that trying to protect against this process is going to be technically and economically very difficult. She believes, based on recent surveys, that more adaptation-focused approach is the ultimate solution. The UK government's coastal management strategy changed this year from investing in sea defenses towards relocating communities at risk. However, authorities have not given clear guidance yet on how or when these communities will be moved. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
And dozens of exhausted migrants arrive in wooden boats in Spain's Canary Island amid a sharp rise in perilous crossings from Africa. Again, Kolo Muhammad tells us more.
People made it to the Canary Island in Spain. 11 of the migrants were taken to hospitals, some by helicopter, as 4 were in critical condition. The number of migrants arriving irregularly by sea to the Canary Island in the Atlantic Ocean rose by 160% between January and July 15 from a year ago, totaling almost 20,000 people, according to Spain's Interior Ministry. Overall, arrivals by sea to Spain, including across the mainland, grew by 88% to around 25,300 people. After reaching the beach, lined with hotels, many of the migrants lay on the sand, looking frail and exhausted. One lay flat and almost motionless, and another struggled to work. Emergency personnel handed the migrants yellow foil blankets, while some were placed on stretchers. Beachgoers, including children, looked on while a tourist handed a water bottle to one of the migrants. According to the latest data from European Border Control Agency, the route from Africa to Canary Island in Spain is the fastest growing migrant route in Europe, with irregular crossings up to 303% from January to May from a year ago. Authorities say another boat carrying 145 migrants was rescued on Friday near Gran Canaria. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Airlines are gradually coming back online after global carriers, banks and financial institutions were thrown into turmoil following a major information technology crash. Details again with Kolo Muhammad.
Passenger crowds had swelled at airports on Friday to wait for news as dozens of flights were cancelled, and operators struggled to keep services on track after an update to a program operating on Microsoft Windows crashed systems worldwide. Multiple U.S. airlines and airports across Asia said they were now resuming operations, with check-in services restored in Hong Kong, South Korea and Thailand. Operations were mostly back to normal in India, Indonesia and Singapore's Changi Airport as of Saturday afternoon. The check-in systems have come back to normal at Thailand's 5 major airports. There are no long queues at airports like it was experienced a day or two ago. Going forward, several new developments are set to be planned at most global international airports to expand the airport facility and handle more airlines and passengers, as well as handle technological glitches should they occur going forward. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Riding high after triumphant conventions that formalized Donald Trump as the Republican Party's White House nominee, the ex-president returns to the campaign trail Saturday for his first rally since narrowly escaping assassination. As Trump descends on the battleground, Michigan, to stomp in public with his running mate J.D. Vance for the first time, Joe Biden's campaign is grappling with an internal Democratic Party revolt from senior lawmakers and donors calling on the 81-year-old president to quit the race. Convention went off without a hitch, and the 78-year-old candidate's mission of demonstrating absolute control over the party and firing up his base appears accomplished. Dozens of the most ardent supporters were already lined up late Friday outside Van Andel Arena to be the first allowed through the doors. The Minister of Budget and International Planning, Atiku Bagudu, says the projects captured in the proposed 6.2 trillion amendment to the 2024 Appropriation Act are innovative as they will show up revenue through increased economic activities. He said this during an engagement with the Senate Committee on Appropriation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
2 days after President Tinubu transmitted to the National Assembly the proposed amendments to the 2024 Appropriation Act to make room for key infrastructure projects and the national minimum wage, the lawmakers are engaging the Minister of Budget and National Planning for details. Atiku Bagudu explains that the review is part of President Tinubu's resolve to confront infrastructure deficit, which is why projects such as the Lagos-Calabar, the Trans-Sahara and the Sokoto-Badagry highways feature in the amendments.
This is where the proposed sum of 6.222 trillion will be deployed. These are roads which cumulatively cross 23 states and which we believe are transformational, the Sokoto-Calabar as well as the Lagos-Calabar the Sokoto-Badagry as well as the Lagos-Calabar, we believe will be catalytic in terms of economic activity and investment in both areas.
It's divided into two, 3 trillion to recurrent and 3.2 trillion to renewed group infrastructure and critical infrastructure. No borrowing plan has been identified to fund this budget. It is being funded as a result of increase in revenue.
The meeting was an opportunity for lawmakers to seek insight on some other economic policies of government.
The gas revolution in terms of CNG, and we as a legislature, we also think that there should be a legal framework put in place for the implementation of this program.
The funds budgeted for in the supplementary 2024 budget, is it to cover the design phase or the flag off of the construction proper?
The proposed 70,000, will this proposal cover it? And you have answered it.
The committee asked the minister to provide more information from ministries, departments and agencies of government that would execute the projects to enable early approval of the amendments. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Stop violating constitutional provisions of financial regulations in managing internally generated revenue. These were the words of caution sounded to the management of Nigerian universities by the House of Representatives Committee on University Education during an oversight visit to Federal University Lafayette and that of Health Sciences Otokpo in Benue State. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Federal University Lafayette presented its report of 2020 to 2023 budget performance, and some infractions were identified.
The summation of the IGL for 2023. The figures I have here is 1,138,406,102 naira 57 kobo. But what is intriguing is that in the utilization, you spent above the income.
We are here not to witch hunt, but to assist. Things have to be done. We have to follow due process.
And at least your coming has strengthened the seriousness of it. And we promise that we are going to comply strictly to most of the things you have mentioned.
For the Federal University of Health Sciences Otokpo, inaccurate submissions and denial of internally generated revenue was quoted, thereby compelling the VC to take an oath.
The evidence I shall give, before this committee, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and also the truth.
I want to declare that the testimony of the entire management of Federal University of Health Sciences is also problematic, and I order serious forensic investigation on all the testimonies of the management as a whole.
The committee is expected to meet with all bosses of the federal universities in relation to inconsistencies in their financial performance records. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. Time now for a short break. More stories in just a moment.
Regions Healthcare Hospitals and Specialist Clinics, a multi-specialty hospital located in Imo State, Nigeria, brings good news.
Regions Healthcare is offering a free health maintenance package to Nollywood actors between now and 1st of August 2024 to enable them access top-notch healthcare in our facility.
The package includes free consultation, laboratory tests, and imaging studies of your choice.
In addition to that, we offer free healthcare and evaluation for patients with epilepsy every Thursday in our free purple clinic that holds here, where we provide medical evaluation and medications for patients with epilepsy.
Are you worried about distance? Our secure and convenient telemedicine service brings exceptional healthcare right to your doorstep.
Regions Telemedicine allows individuals from all over Nigeria and even across the globe access quality healthcare from the comfort of their home. So we want to encourage Nigerians to embrace this innovation and contact Regions Telemedicine.
Regions Healthcare. Exceptional people, exceptional care.
Thanks for joining us again. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in partnership with Harvest Plus under the UK-aid supported scaling climate-adapted nutritious crops in Nigeria, has inaugurated the National Biofortification Steering Committee to serve as a high-level advocacy group for biofortification in Nigeria. The steering committee will serve as advisory, advocacy, and lobby group made up of policymakers, experts, and stakeholders that will provide guidance on issues relating to enabling policies for biofortification in Nigeria. The committee will also deepen the inclusion of biofortification and climate-smart agriculture into government policies and programs and use it as a strategic tool to reduce negative health outcomes associated with micronutrient deficiencies in Nigeria, and this will lead to improved access to nutritious foods.
Biofortification, which enhances the micronutrient density of widely consumed staple crops, can be readily integrated into existing cropping system, and large-scale fortification of staple foods can be carried out during post-harvest processing.
It's a lobby group that will ensure that, the various policies that we have for biofortification in Nigeria, they will help to see the implementation of those policies. That has also helped, for us to see increase in public sector investment in biofortification at the state level.
Before now, the biofortification has been happening in some states and areas under scattered arrangements. The duplication of money, wasted of projects, but now this committee is going to align the activities of biofortification, which will now save money and also make sure that we're able to have a harmonized working strategy.
The committee will also see to the implementation of the various policies at both national and sub-national levels, cutting across the various biofortified group value chains. Humanity now has 4 years to prevent a 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming, with the global climate clock countdown tracking the deadline for nations to stay in check. In Abuja, awareness is on ahead of the Climate Emergency Day as nations race against time to beat the clock. Charles Arthur reports.
22nd of July 2024 will mark the clock ticking over at 5 o'clock in the evening as Nigeria joins climate clock groups across the globe to mark the 3rd annual Climate Emergency Day in a direct call on leaders to act in time and prevent the 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming. In Nigeria, a group of climate advocates on the march are demanding an increase in budget allocation for climate change, just energy transition, and women's inclusion in decision-making, having witnessed firsthand the impact of climate change on communities.
Basically, what that means is that we have less than 4 years to avoid the catastrophic impact of climate change, where we'll have limited time to change what is already happening.
A historic day where the clock will tick below four years in history. So this gives humanity a window of 4 years to act.
We are saying fossil fuel is harmful to the environment, to the planet, and we are saying the right part of the face, which is clean energy, which is clean. So we are saying the government should invest more in renewable energy research development.
We are here to demand that more women should be represented. Even in the international climate discourse, we have less than 35% of women.
Just transition in Nigeria is possible. The first thing that we need is the political.
The call for this year's Climate Emergency Day 2024 is focused specifically on divestment from fossil fuels and investment in a collective future, with fossil fuels accounting for over 75% of greenhouse gas emissions and 90% of carbon dioxide emissions, trapping the sun's heat. The global climate clock will display which says it is time to end fossil fuels, fund our future. There is good news. It is not too late. We have the solutions. Another world is possible. We must fight for it and act in time. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The medical and dental professionals in Nigeria have been challenged to evaluate and proffer solutions to the disturbing impact of the economic situation on healthcare delivery in the country. This was the focus at the 9th Scientific Conference of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria in Abuja, with the theme Crisis Response, Strengthening Healthcare Systems During Economic Uncertainty. The need to prioritize the mental well-being of healthcare providers also topped discussions.
The government of Nigeria has made efforts to reach the common Nigerian through the National Health Insurance Act. However, the percentage of Nigerians, especially the most vulnerable, that have keyed into this remains a far cry.
The economy is taking a direct hit on our healthcare system, and people are dying in their numbers. We cannot afford to keep quiet, fold our hands and do nothing. We must respond.
Speaker stressed the need for policy alignment and synergy among agencies to achieve and sustain the renewed hope mantra in the health sector. The federal government has launched the National Clean Tech Innovation Entrepreneurship Ecosystem, CREE, to provide a competitive business acceleration platform for innovative startups and small and medium enterprises in the country. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji, who set in motion the ecosystem in Abuja at the instance of the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program Nigeria, a UNEDO-led initiative sponsored by the Global Environment Facility. The minister emphasized that the CREE journey will foster an enabling environment for innovation and entrepreneurship, marking a transformative change for Nigeria.
The GCIP framework is built on three main pillars. One is transforming early-stage innovative clean tech solutions into scalable businesses. Two is strengthening and connecting the clean tech innovation ecosystem. And finally, ensuring effective project coordination. We have already completed the first components.
And today we know that there's a lot of beautiful innovation that our people, especially our entrepreneurs, are actually dealing with. But the question is, how do they get to the market? And that's what we're looking at. And that gap between prototype and to the market is called the value of death. And that value of death deals with institutional issues such as legal and regulatory policies, capacity building, finance, enabling the market needs. And so what the ministry will have to do is to support that, or is to address that value of death.
So we are basically, young people are the major actors in this, because they are the ones that are really churning out the innovations, not only in Nigeria but in many countries. And over 50% of the population of Nigeria is made up of youths.
Yes.
So how can Nigeria make use of these youths, not only to bring up technologies and innovations, but to bring up clean technologies and innovations for the benefit of Nigeria?
We are incubating these entrepreneurs ever since. We have been in the business of incubation for a very long time. So we have so many of them at the center. So we can partner by them by providing training, capacity building for those at the center in order to improve what they have on the ground.
Activities for implementation under Component 2 include the inception and launch of the second component, train the trainer, and awareness workshops within the ministry, and ongoing policy localization efforts. The ministry is also expanding the call for applications through its website to engage a broader range of agencies and inventors. A deliberate effort to improve productivity in all sectors of the nation's economy has been put in motion following a one-day business intelligence conference organized by the Institute of Corporate Administration held in Abuja. Francis Udojo reports that stakeholders from federal and state organizations, including the private sector, were represented.
One of the major concerns raised by speakers at the conference was the issue of lack of professionalism in most of the private and public sectors, resulting in low productivity, corruption, and job incompetency. These, they added, have affected the basic business of human resource development and modern workplace ethics.
Whenever you work, the landmark will always be there. But when it is not there, it sends the wrong signal. And we must operate based on best practices.
In a paper titled Professionalism in the Public Service, Lack of Civility, Ineffective Communication in the Workplace, as well as ill attitude to job are drawbacks that should be properly handled, was presented at the conference.
Professionalism is more of about attitude. It's about the way you think, about your appearance, your commitment to work, and commitment to excellence. And we must get it from that angle, then get certificates in addition.
The Director General of NTA, who was represented, backed the Institute's Icon of Vision and Excellence Award, while the Induction Fellowship Certificate of the Institute and awards were presented to deserving individuals for upholding professional ethics.
Since his assumption of office, the Director General has been a performer. For us, as part of his management, we're delighted that an institution like the Institute of Corporate Administration of Nigeria found him worthy.
By understanding and demonstrating the importance of professionalism traits, guests at the event believe individuals can build their careers and contribute to the nation's success. Francis Udojo, NT News.
And that's the news on NTA International. Very much thanks for your company.